Hello everybody, this is Stacy with Limelight AZ. This right here, this is for Sombra. I managed to get a pillowcase onto a pillow. Well, not me, somebody else in the household did. Um, because it's all about presentation. Thank you, Sombra. Um, Truthfully, there's just some things I just, in the moment, don't care about and decide I need to get a video up. And that's usually one of them, that we don't have pillowcases on our pillows. So, but now I do. Here you go, Sombra. Alright, so today's video, I realized today in conversing with someone that I don't have a video explaining how bee venom therapy is done. I have a video explaining the protocol, but not how the bees get to sting me, which is actually pretty simple. And I will eventually do a video of it actually being done on me, but it's just too complicated right now with me needing to edit videos, make sure that nothing is showing that I'm uncomfortable with showing. I am a fairly modest person, so doing these videos with just a sheet over me and up to my neck, in most of them, is a lot. And so to have my back showing, other than just a quick clip, is also a little bit uncomfortable for me. Plus, I would have to depend on one of my little ones, whether that's the 11-year-old boy or the 8-year-old girl, to take video of my back and do it properly and not have it shaking all over the place, and make sure that nothing below mid-back is showing. So there's some complications there with trying to edit, trying to make sure the video isn't upside down because kid is recording and all these other things that it's too much for me to really want to put the effort into trying to deal with. So I will do my best to explain how we do the bee venom therapy. As you may know from one of my other videos, we do stinging 3 times a week, 10 stings, because I'm at the full therapy dose, 10 stings each session along the spine. So how do we get the bees to sting me? No, we don't use injections. There are injections available, but they're not as effective. And of course, they would cost money. If you can slap a label on it, then you can charge an exorbitant amount of money for it. It's kind of hard to slap a label on a bee butt. So, and there's also no regulating bees, so how do we get bees to sting you? Well, first of all, we have a bee buddy. I recommend the Beezza hut if you are in need of a bee house, and I will put the link down in the description box. A fellow Limey actually makes them, and I highly recommend that you support other Lyme people who are trying to make a living as they're dealing with Lyme. So, there's that link. And David, I've heard, don't have one of his products, but I've heard that he makes very good products. Okay, so you get one of these houses, you put your bees in it. We actually have our house that we fill locally, and the local beekeeper just dumps a whole bunch of bees in there, sometimes over 500. We bring it home, we open it up and we put it outside. We're in Arizona, so we don't have a lot of snow or rain or anything like that, because we're in the Phoenix area of Arizona. So we don't have to worry about the house getting destroyed due to cold weather or wet weather. So we open up the front of the little bee house, which has some plexiglass on it, so that the bees can come in and out. And they basically use that as their home. And they fly to nearby flowers and whatnot, and then they actually sometimes will create honey on the inside of the little bee house. Eventually, the bees age and start decreasing in number between that and me using the bees. So we generally hang on to our bees for anywhere between 5 weeks to almost 10 weeks. Tends to be how long we have our bees for. And then we have to take the house and have it refilled, or my husband does. So, what my husband does is when he needs to do bee stinging on me for the night, he will wait until evening, until after sunset, because by then the majority of the bees are back. Once in a while we'll have a straggler, but they're pretty much back and inside the house and ready to go to sleep for the night. So he shuts the plexiglass so that they can't escape, and he brings the bee house inside. We kick our kids out of our bedroom, and then he gets reverse action tweezers. We have 10 of them. Actually, do we have 10 or 11? I don't remember. But we have 10 of them, and he uses these reverse action tweezers to grab one bee at a time from the bee house. And when he does that, he gets them positioned on the tweezers properly so that he can angle the bee at my back and sting me with it. Yes, it hurts. No, it does not hurt nearly as much as Lyme does. For me, the effects of the bee sting... Sorry about all the yelling. I have my door open and the kids are being loud. So for me, what our process is he uses the butt of the tweezers to push around on my back because I have to lay down for my bee stinging. Most people are sitting up for theirs, but because of being bedridden and unable to sit up on my own, I lay down. So he uses the butt of the tweezers to push around near my spine, and I let him know when it feels like it's positioned correctly. And then from there, I say okay, and he stings me with the bee sting, or with the bee. The bee then goes into a solution of water and soap. Anyways, that solution is to humanely kill the bees pretty much right away. The soapy water makes it so that they die fast. As most people know, when a bee stings you and it loses its stinger, it dies. Well, what people don't generally know is it doesn't die right away. And under the assumption that losing the stinger and all of the stuff that comes along with it is painful for the bee, we tend to humanely try to kill the bee so it doesn't have to live in pain. We don't know that the bee actually feels pain, but we don't know that it doesn't. So, to be respectful of the bee giving up its life for me, we choose to kill the bees humanely. Anyways, so the bee stings me, and then my husband drops the bee into the solution, and I wait through about 30 seconds at the high end. Usually it's about 15 seconds of that initial burning sensation that comes with a bee sting. And it still hurts, but then after that initial punch, once in a while there's a second punch that comes along about 30 seconds later. But usually the whole process is over in about 30 seconds of that initial shock pain, that makes you jerk. Once that's over, I tell him to go ahead and do the next one. Again, he goes through and he taps around until I tell him it feels like it's positioned correctly. This time on the opposite side of my spine, just across, and stings me. Again, the bee goes in the solution. I wait through that initial feeling of intense pain. And then we go through the whole process again. We do 5 on the left side of my spine, 5 on the right side, and they are across from each other. So, or let's see, that would be horizontal from each other. And do all 10 stings, leave them in for 20 minutes, and then my husband pulls them out. It remains to be painful and sore, kind of equivalent to what a sunburn would feel like, for a few hours. Usually by the fourth hour, I don't even notice it unless I bump into it or am rubbing it on my sheet or something. And I don't mean just grazing across my back. I mean, like, because when I shift in bed, I drag my back across the bed. So it's after 4 hours, it's pretty much back to normal. The next day, it's fine. So yeah, that's how we do it. We use tweezers. So that answers that question. I think this was long enough to explain grab bees with tweezers and sting your back. Anyways, so if you want to know more information, you can post a question and I'll get you hooked up with how to find the bee venom groups on Facebook. Talk to you later. Bye.